Hello and welcome to the live Free to Be show. I am so excited today to be interviewing the host and creator of the next summit that I'll be in. You may have noticed that I've changed my profile heading to Amplify DEI, which stands for Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion.
Mm.
And so today I'm interviewing the lovely, talented, and beautiful Vivian Acquah, who is a driven woman who likes to talk about the holistic way of sustainable employability called workplace wellness. And for her, this is the way to work on a healthy culture at work. Vivian advises managers and companies on how to keep their team members healthy, happy, and safe. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Cordelia. I'm so excited to have a conversation with you about this, and thank you for having me on the show as well.
Absolutely, my pleasure. I'm really curious. We've had our private conversation about this, but really just share with the audience, what is your story which led to starting the Amplified DEI movement?
It all started with I talk about my son Orlando, who is about to turn 7 very soon, but he's 6 at the moment, and he started asking me questions about Black Lives Matter, and also about the questions about why did George Floyd died. And he's biracial. He's part Dutch and he's part Ghanaian. And he first asked his dad, and then his dad, told his side of the story, and then I added my side of the story, and I also explained to him that George Floyd merely died because of the skin color. And the first thing that he asked me was, "Is somebody going to hurt you?" And I
Oh,
had to reassure him that it won't happen, even though I was conflicted with sharing a white lie. But I knew that no child should be worried about their parents' well-being, especially when it's something that they cannot control. And no child should be worrying about if they matter as a person, especially when other people are judging them based on their color. So I saw a post from Alexis Ohanian, who's mostly called as the husband of Serena Williams, but I want to call him by his name, Alexis Ohanian, and he shared something that is very valuable to me. He gave up his seat at I have mommy brain from time to time, but he gave up. I think it was GitHub. No, I don't. It's not GitHub, but he shared a seat. He shared his seat, saying goodbye to his company and telling others that he's giving up his C-level suite, his C-level chair, because he wants to give it to a person of color. He feels like by the time that his daughter is becoming older, she will ask questions. And kids are asked the darndest thing. And one of the questions that he was wondering was, "Dad, what did you do to prevent this? What did you do? What is your contribution to improve, that Black lives really matter?" And
mm.
that got me thinking, right? Because I don't have the budget like Alexis Ohanian has. I'm working towards that, though. I'm working towards
Right.
that. Everything is, with building steps. But I knew that I have a way to ignite people. And I already knew that, from speaking to, I think I have already done like 72 or 75 lives within a year already. And having to know so many people internationally and also nationally in the Netherlands, I knew that there were so many others that feel the same, are really connected to my dream and my mission. And it's also easy to ask when you know somebody. So I merely asked, the majority of the people that are joining this summit, I asked them, "Do you believe in what I'm sharing at the moment? And if
Mm.
so, can you support this?" Because we need to, like it says, we need to amplify diversity, equity, and inclusion, because there is something happening in the world where people are being dehumanized. And um, I just want to play a role so that my son, at the time that he becomes an adult, that he knows that his mom, and not only his mom, but the fellow advocates did their best to amplify diversity, equity, inclusion, and to make to make, people of color matter.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's quite profound. It,
Yeah.
it is, especially when we're raising our children, because
Hmm.
they're the next generation, right? So,
True.
and it's how we show up in their lives and in our
Yeah.
lives, and how we are part of,
Yeah.
are we giving lip service to something, or are
Yeah.
we actually doing
Yeah.
something to do that, to
Yeah.
change things?
Yeah.
That's really powerful.
I'm looking Alexis Ohanian and his company because I feel like I haven't done a good job. So I'm looking it up. Reddit. That was the name, not GitHub.
Right,
Reddit.
that's what Mary was saying, it's called Reddit, and, thank you for joining, Mary, by the way, and, just on the point of mommy brain, I
Yeah.
do not believe in mommy brain, and as you know, my topic is refining the corporate, culture by respecting your mothers. I think that is a
Hmm.
disrespect to mothers. Moms have lots of things, lots of plates spinning,
Yes,
and
true.
the fact that you remembered the important details, anyone clearly can Google what's the name of his company, so
True, true.
there's
No, I'm
no.
I'm so sorry for all the mothers. And again, I just turned 40, so you may not see the gray lines. I added some gray in here somewhere, but sometimes when I'm so busy, I tend to forget, and I have to Google the few things. And thank you, Cordelia. That is something that we should be mindful of by saying something that isn't positive. So thank you.
Yeah, and to be fair, 40 is just the beginning of your youth in some traditions, so okay, and let me just tell you, I'm not 40, and I haven't been for almost a decade, so yeah. And nothing wrong with my brain.
Definitely.
So, and I also want to say, because you mentioned something else, and I
Mhm.
sending all the abundance to you and your mission
Yeah.
and what you're doing. And
Thank you.
so, tell us a little bit more, like, who should attend and why should they attend? Is this for
Mhm.
just like HR professionals, or, like, what are we
This
going to learn?
this
Yeah.
summit is, yes, it's for HR professionals, but it's also for managers, it's also for leaders, it's for those who want to trailblaze, diversity, equity, and inclusion within their company. And it's not about, what I do want to emphasize, this summit is not only about it being for Black Lives Matter. No, like I said, it's about amplifying diversity. So we have diverse categories and conversations there. Am I complete? No, but this is the first time that we're doing it, and we're starting broad and having so many speakers showing up, speaking their truth, and helping moving the needle regarding this conversation. It's epic. You have never seen it, and that's why I'm sharing it. It's like the Netflix you wish you had on diversity, equity, and inclusion, but it isn't there, and that's why we are all providing that as well. So it's about, um, even internal comms can learn so much from it, right? Because the way that we sometimes communicate with other people can make people feel excluded. Just like you shared right now, I'm learning all the way. Do I know it all? No, but I'm learning all the way to have more inclusive conversations and to direct more inclusive conversation, because that's where this summit is at. So this summit is not about the definitions. We do have some presentations where they go into the definitions, but it's an actionable presentation. So we leave you with actions to move the needle now and to amplify it. We need some amplification. We don't need some baby steps. We need, huge steps, giant steps, elephant steps.
Indeed. And I like how you said that it is a Netflix, and
Hmm.
people pay for Netflix. So let's talk about that for a minute.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. People
Tell
do
me.
pay. So the summit is, what is inside the summit is, we have three ways to join the summit. There is a freebie where you can see the behind the scenes, and you can learn about the speaker. So the speaker is just giving, a teaser away of their presentation, but the real action is within the all access passes. So I provided an all access pass where you can just visit the summit for 16 days and take all that is within you, or you can go for the VIP pass, which is at the moment €97, which is a steal because by the end of the summit, it will be double the price. So with the VIP classes, you have the opportunity not only to learn all the things and to consume all the information in your own time, wherever you want, whenever you want, but you also have to have the time to implement steps. And on top of that, I will also invite some of the speakers to come back in a monthly conversation behind the door. So you get access to a VIP Facebook group where you can have these ongoing conversations about, okay, you implemented DEI, what are the challenges that you're facing, or what is it that you want to have a conversation about before you're letting your assignments go. Because sometimes we forget that whatever change that we want to make happen, it needs implementation time.
Wow. So this is like, let me think about this. So it's like better than Netflix.
Oh,
because
sure better.
you
Sure
get
better.
to, right? You get to
Yeah.
like be in conversation
Mm-hmm.
with the speakers and, kick up dust and say like, okay, so I've been doing what you said in your talk for the past 30 days and
Mm-hmm.
this is what's going on for me.
Yeah.
So you really get to have that dialogue. So it's like,
Yeah.
learn, implement, talk.
But you're also
Yeah.
learning from others, right? The power lies in learning from others, because most of the time when we are having these conversations, we only have the one-on-one with the speaker. And I want us to learn from each other and to support each other. Me setting up Amplify DEI, it's not about a me. I'm all about the we creation and also for the speakers, right? I am challenging or inviting the speakers to connect with the other speakers, because you never know what it might mean, what kind of collaboration might come out of it, or maybe, some work or whatever. You never know what it might come out. So it's important for me to not only keep my network for myself, but also show the valuable gems that it's already within my network. And that's what I've been doing with humanizing the workplace anyway. So why not extend it through this summit?
Yes. I mean, we're hearing a lot of this more and more, that collaboration is super important, and
Mm-hmm.
community, right?
Yeah.
Especially now that we've
Yeah.
all been kind of tucked away in our safe little houses.
Mm-hmm.
So that connection is really important. That's very, very powerful.
Yeah.
So I know we kind of touched on this already, but
Mm-hmm.
like, why should anyone care? Like, that stuff is old
Yeah.
news. It's, it happens and then it doesn't happen. And so like,
Why should anybody care? So there are so many facts and figures that I can't touch on the facts and figures, but when you want to work for a company that isn't inclusive, that's totally up to you. But also know that the next generation, so the generation of my son and the generation before him, is demanding inclusion, is demanding diversity. And if you don't have that in the workplace, that means that less people will sign up to become your colleague or to join your company. And I know that a lot of companies are in the now phase, especially with the corona, especially with the lockdown. There are so many other challenges, but the companies that do have some space, some air to think about the future, and that are taking the right steps to do it now, they are stepping the right steps to become sustainable. They are stepping the right steps to be still exist after 5 years. No, I'm not talking about the huge companies, because they will exist, but in a way they will also be impacted if they don't add more inclusion or diversity or equity in it. And also know that small companies also need it. You need to learn a way to address certain things and not to exclude your people, because it is how war started. And it's not, you don't want a civil war in the workplace. That's not the last thing what you want. And also from a personal perspective, there are a lot of people burning out right now. There are a lot of people facing not only stress from the workplace, but also facing stress because of COVID, because they might have lost somebody, or they're facing a double up stress because of Black Lives Matter. And I needed to do something about this. So that's why it is important for those who are interested, those who want to move the needle like we are doing right now, to join this movement and support this movement, because I'm not asking a lot of money. I'm asking a small investment for you to invest in the future of the next generation, and to invest in more diverse workplaces where we don't go for only for the window dressing. We go for sustainable actions. We go for sustainable movements, and that's what we want.
Very powerful also.
Thank you.
You touched on something, and I'm in the realm of emotions. So when people, there's a lot of workplace dissatisfaction right now.
True.
And it is, like that heaviness
Yeah.
going to work every day. It's like, not to make light of it, but it's like, I've got to make the donuts,
Yeah.
because you need to pay your bills.
Yeah.
But do you have to go to a place that is making you physically ill, right?
Yeah.
And
Not
people
physically,
don't
mentally also as
mentally
well.
ill,
Yeah.
and people don't connect those dots.
Yeah.
Our brains are so powerful. And just an
Mhm.
example, I mean, we have a perfect example. Chadwick Boseman just passed,
Yeah.
right? Nobody knew that he was
Yeah.
even suffering from cancer for 4
Yeah.
years. That shows the power of a mind, right?
Mhm.
His mind drove his body to perform at a high level.
Yeah.
Now,
But it also shows us as people that we need to be kind, because I also saw the negativity towards him losing weight. And you would judge, I would think like maybe he's acting, or preparing his role preparing for the next role, because the actors, they do that sometimes. They lose a lot of weight because of the upcoming role. What I'm trying to say is, none of your business to judge him, because you'd never know what's behind those doors, what's behind him. And I hope that his example, his role modeling, will teach us to be more humble, and next time not to judge as quickly as we normally do. And if you judge, keep it here instead of outing it on social media, because you don't want somebody else to do that with you.
yeah. Yeah, our words carry so much weight.
Yeah.
And, that's the other part. People may think, oh, they're just joking at the,
It's
the
hurtful.
in
It's
the
hurtful.
kitchen at the snack thing or whatever,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
it means so much, and
Yeah.
that can ruin someone's day.
Yeah.
So, wow. I want to welcome some people here. So we've got
Yeah,
Mary,
definitely.
we've got Estahar. Hello, salam alaikum. How are you? And Mary also shared, what did she say? I don't understand and can't relate to the fear that drives people.
Me
So,
neither, man.
you know, I met Mary, you were talking, I think before we came on, we were talking about co-creating, right? So
Yeah.
she and I met at Devin Bandison's event for co-creating the bridge. And this is also, talking about race relations in the United States. So yeah, we've talked a lot about fear, and really just to change the conversation to love. Like, what if we we're on a mission to love one another, and like, not within the confines of anything, to use my favorite quote by, or favorite song by Ziggy Marley, love is my religion, right? Like, what if that was true for all of us, right?
Yeah.
And in all the ways that we can love one
So many
another.
magical things would happen, not only in the workplace, but also in life itself, right? So I have seen wonders during this whole Black Lives Matter. So I'm only talking from the perspective here in the Netherlands, because we here in the Netherlands are people in the Netherlands are very quick to judge and say it doesn't happen here in the Netherlands, what's happening in the US. But even though people are not being, well, there have been incidents where men have been killed. If it's accidentally, I don't know, but I know that the color of the skin pays a contribution for their death. So, and also a lot of white people have been speaking up, and that's something that I never thought that would be possible. I'm seeing, people learning to become allies. I won't say that they are allies, they are learning to become an allies, and learning more about what systemic racism means. So I recently, and I think I haven't shared this with you, but I also have to be very honest regarding Black Lives Matter. And I know my family might be watching, but I'm sharing something that I have not shared that often. And that is, in my 20s, I was in a situation where somebody in the workplace really did a number on me. And it made me feel less. It dehumanized me, where I wasn't thinking positively of myself. And I undertook action to not be here in the world. Luckily, it didn't go through. And that's something that I fear for my son, because I fear that somebody might be having so much power over him, or so much words over him, that he's going to listen to somebody else's truth, which isn't his. And that's why I am speaking up right now, because I have to break the chain. I have to do something. And of course, we're doing some mind work at home. He's even the one who, when I was talking to his father, or having a conversation with his father, he almost stopped us and said to us, "That's fixed mindset." And I was just like, how come a 4-year-old can share that with his parents, that you're talking about a fixed mindset? That's so wrong. But I value the school that he's on, and I value him. And kids do say the darnest thing. I believe that, sometimes old souls can come back, and I believe that he has an old soul. So not most of the time, but sometimes he speaks a good truth, which I bring into my business, and which I'm just sharing that with others, because we need to listen more to our children. You never know what they are saying, and they have an unfiltered way of sharing their truth.
I have learned so much from my children, and you're right that we
Yeah.
do have some old souls sometimes. I think it's these 2014, 15 models.
Hmm.
They're quite interesting, isn't it? Because my 6-year-old, she'll say some quite profound things as well.
Hmm. Yeah.
So yeah. Welcome, Wanda. Good morning. Happy Monday. And
Welcome.
she's saying that that was her story. So
Oh.
Wanda is like one of my clients, and she's a breast cancer survivor,
Mhm.
and that, was a
Yeah.
result of,
Yeah.
so like we were already talking about emotions and everything, and it really does, destroy your health. I
It really
mean,
does. And a lot of people are wearing masks at the moment. Yes, thank you, Marie. I am sorry, but then again, I'm not sorry, because otherwise I wouldn't use that pain to put it into power. So I see that, at the time I was crying my eyes out, but and couldn't see the lesson that I needed to learn. But I know that my past, the scars, are valuable lessons that I can show to people, say that I've been through what you've been through, and I'm there. You can survive, and you can make it. Definitely can make it. I'm still here.
I'm not. I wanted to have it. You know what? Okay, so like
Stop it.
StreamYard is kind of new to me, and what I was trying to do, because you were saying something so profound, I was like, "Ooh, let's spotlight not me." So okay, well, I'll work on that for the next interview. But that was supposed to be spotlight on Vivian, not on me. Um, yeah.
No, I think that I do have to admit to something, and that's something that I honor my tribe, and I see you as my tribe. So, the first time that I heard you speaking, we have never. I just met you during Humans First, and the first time that I heard you speaking, and I was just like, I need to know this woman. So I reached out afterwards and say, your voice, everything. And then afterwards, we started talking about, mothers and the mothers lactation room, where it's a whole nother topic that we have to battle. But I think it's important. No, I know it's important to find your tribe, find your people, find those who can relate to your story. And I have for each different areas within my life. So my business life, I have my business friends where I can, talk some personal things, but also discuss what the challenges I'm facing when it comes to businesses, but also friends and also mentors. Find those people you trust, who you can show your ugly sides, because I have an ugly sides. I also have an ugly cry, but I'm not going to show that here. Where you can truly be yourselves. I have cried during my live streams. I have cried my ugly cries, and that was right after George Floyd died, and also right after Orlando asking me questions, because I didn't know.
Yeah.
I mean, the double standards when it comes to being a parent of a child of color. We have some double layers of parenting going on, which a lot of people don't realize what we're doing right now. So not only are we teaching our child to become an adult, but we are also teaching our child to live longer because of the double standards that people are
Okay,
holding.
just stop right there.
Yeah.
We're teaching our child to live longer.
Yeah.
Like that means as in you have to walk on this tight rope so they don't shoot you. And that is especially for Black mothers who have sons.
Yeah.
Right? Not that
Yeah.
not that they're not going to kill your daughters, right? Breonna Taylor and 14-year-old girls getting cuffed and beat up by cops.
Seeing young girls as women.
And let's define what that means. Okay, let's stop again. 6-year-old girls being objectified.
Yeah.
Okay, like what kind of sick person can even think that because and here's the thing. Okay, let me get on my soapbox for a minute. Okay, so let me just tell you, I am so angry is an understatement when it comes to, going to Target or something like that, looking for clothes for my little girls, right? Because why do they have the stuff that, not that I think it's appropriate for adult women, but it's like halter tops and booty shorts. Why? Right? Yeah. But if a white little girl wears a halter top and booty shorts, isn't she so cute? She wants to be like mommy. But if a Black girl does it, heaven forbid, oh my God, what are they teaching that girl at home? Right? That same white girl could dance around to WAP, but heaven forbid you see a Black girl do that. Look at that. She's trying to, she's already probably, being promiscuous, and it's, and
it reminds me also something about, it's weird that I have to mention Netflix in this, but Netflix showcased a series, the way they advertised that series around the girls that were dancing, which is an inspirational movie, but the way they use the ad, that's inappropriate. They should have used the original image that was attached to this movie, which is showcasing it's a movie against, I thought it was a movie against predatorship, but the way they showed it was aiming, it was amplifying predators. And I'm just like, no, I don't want you. Netflix should have done better, especially knowing where they come from and knowing that, within their company, they are doing their best to uplift diversity, equity, and inclusion. They should have known better, and they should have more people of color having a vote to say something about that ad.
Yeah,
so that
I'm
means
actually
that Netflix has a lot of work to do. I might share Amplify DEI with them.
I think you should. I totally think you should.
Yeah.
Thank you, Wanda. I appreciate that.
Yeah.
And she also said they say they're fast and out of control. Yeah. And just a little bit of a disclaimer here. We're not hating on any company. We're really focusing.
I'm still loving Netflix.
Right. We're talking about amplifying diversity, equity, and inclusion, and just highlighting examples of how, the larger corporations could do better. And if you're a smaller corporation, this is your foot in, like where you can, you're starting out or whatever your space is right now. You have an opportunity to be a leader in this way. And this is why you need to sign up straight away for Amplify DEI. You can go directly to Vivian's website, amplifydei.com. And also to sign up for the summit, excuse me, directly, you can use my bit.ly link, which I have put in the thing. I think it's bit.ly Amplify with a capital A, Cordelia, capital C, to sign up. And so you can become part of that VIP group and have that dialogue as you're keeping those conversations, those talks, and implementing it in your workplace or your business, and being part of the solution most of all, and not perpetuating the problem. We're only
Or
getting
being
older.
silent, right? If you're silent,
Right.
you are
Yes.
also joining that movement, and by not speaking up, because we need people to speak up. And I'm not saying that you need to call out every company as a racist. I'm not that person. I'm a person that rather has conversations about dehumanizing people. You're dehumanizing people, and we need to start taking actions about how we can humanize the workplace so that everybody feels welcome, and not only the huge majority of the employees.
100%.
Yeah.
We have really touched on a lot of topics.
Mhm.
I value you deeply, and I appreciate you
I value you
deeply.
too.
Thank you so much, Vivian. I love it when you do that. That always just makes me so happy. Um,
I seem to have that effect on people. Some last week, a speaker gave me an awesome cut. I was so surprised. I was just like, okay, this is what is happening with the awesome cut. But really, I appreciate you for taking the time, and I'm so honored that you are, lifting up mothers during this summit, because we sometimes forget that mothers also take place in the workplace, or the moment that a woman becomes a mother, she's not being seen as a person. And I'm glad that you are speaking up about this, because we need to uplift mothers and make the workplace more inclusive.
yeah, absolutely. So I just want to give you, another minute or two if you want to share
Hmm.
any
Hmm.
last thoughts.
For those of you who are interested or curious about going to Amplify DEI, it is a platform where you can get bite-sized tips, bite-sized actionable tips. You also get the opportunity to meet so many new people that after this you will never say, I don't know anybody about, who does diversity or equity and inclusion, because most of the times people don't know where to start, people don't know where to look. And what about having um, access to 71 speakers, having that access, learning not only about their talk, but also learning more about them. Because how many events have you been where you had the opportunity to learn more about the speaker? I've never been to such an event, because most of the time it's only about the talk and not about behind the scenes. So
Yeah.
that's why I wanted to give you extra. So besides having access to the 71 talks, you'll also be having so much access to most of the speakers. So I think about 60 speakers signed up for the one-on-one conversation behind the scenes. So you're getting 71 plus 60 is 131 for
Wow.
€97. Where do you get that?
I don't know, because here in the DC area, when
Hmm.
we go to conferences like this, it's like $400. I'm just saying.
A minimum. And then you have to pay for your stay, you have to pay for your lunch, you have to pay for your food, you have to pay for,
Yeah.
you have to pay for relaxation. Well, like I said, it's Netflix. And forget it, the chill, it's Netflix. It's the business version of Netflix. But you can grab your popcorn, you can grab your soda, you can grab your food, and even, learn a thing or two, and connect with the individual speakers. So I would say don't miss this out, because this is the time and the opportunity to really make that change happen. And even though if the change is small, a change is a change, no matter how small. And I have to think about something that Dr. Seuss is saying, but I can't remember the verse. But it was about the Who, right? The Who.
Yeah.
I think it was you who shared something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was you. Yeah, it was you.
Sis, yeah, that's me. Which one is it?
It was about the elephant hearing the Who.
Oh, Horton Hears a Who?
And the Who was a very small village. But even it doesn't matter how small you are, you're still there. And that's how it was you. I got it from you. That's why I thought you said something about Who. Yes,
So I didn't do Horton Hears a Who.
that's somebody else.
It,
Somebody inspired
yeah,
me.
the one that I did was stars, the story about stars, right?
Mm.
Like they don't have these ones have stars on their belly and
Mm-hmm.
these don't have stars on theirs
Yeah.
and stuff like that. But I haven't read Horton Hears a Who like in Alive or anything.
Mm-hmm.
The stories that I usually cover, like I said, is the stars one, because that was about that. To me, that is, racism, right?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
cool because you have a star, or you're cool because you don't have a star, and they kept
Yeah.
going through this machine, right? And then nobody knew the difference, right?
Yeah.
And the machine broke. And this is really key here. It's all smoke and mirrors, because at the end
Yeah.
of the day, they were both broke, right? But what was his name? The guy who made the machine, he went out of town and he had thousands of pounds, euros, dollars, whatever your currency is,
Mm-hmm.
right? And they were just broke.
Yeah.
But they finally realized that, you know what, hey, we're both just who we are,
Mm-hmm.
and we can share this beach.
Yeah.
Sneeches on beaches. That's the
Yeah.
story I read. Yeah.
No, I need to revisit the Who, because the Who, I mean, I love everything that Dr. Seuss is creating, because there are so many hidden
Yeah.
messages in there which you can apply in all days, in all life lessons. But the most of it is, I saw Dr. Seuss being very diverse and having a different way of amplifying diversity, and we need that. We need that as well. I also noticed a comment from Mary, but you
Yeah,
took
I'm
it
gonna
away
make
too
it
early.
okay. So
I'm looking
my
forward. If Mary is going to talk about, about amplifying DEI, please do. It's just a small investment that you can do with your colleagues or with the company, and curious to hear about that. So please do. Yeah,
Yeah, so it looks like
you
I'm
need
gonna
to
have
repost your link.
I need to repost my link, because so I have to do it on my phone, because when I do it on my computer, it's
Mm-hmm.
going to YouTube. But I
Yeah,
will post it right after the live. But if you're listening, it's bit.ly/amplify Cordelia, and it's a capital A, capital C.
yeah.
So yeah, well, thank you for being here
Thank you.
live,
Thank
um,
you.
and I'm really excited for what you're bringing to the world
Yeah.
and amplifying your mission. All right.
It's
And
not my
thank you.
mission. No, 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 no.
Oh, the mission.
It's not my mission. It's our mission. It's
Yeah.
a we thing, and I'm bringing only the we people together. So
Mm,
it's our mission.
so good.
Yeah.
So good. For those of you who are watching live or even on the replay, sharing is caring. And I'm sure you got benefit. And so if you learned something new today, share
Mm-hmm.
that with someone else.
Yeah.
Thank you for watching.
Thank you.